I think the thing I was most upset about over the weekend was the fact that it's the end of the Inside the NBA on TNT show. Now, what does the future hold? I don't know. But I mean, that show for decades made me belly laugh. And it will never be the same. I know there are some iterations that might come out, and I'm not exactly sure what the lineup is going to look like, but to watch those guys, and really, if you think about it, from mid-April through late May, since I was 10 years old, I mean, it's just the most entertaining sports post-game show of all time. And then they add Shaq eventually. So Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet Smith, Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal. The laughter over the years, it will never be matched. And there was an account on X, if you're looking for a trip down memory lane. Let's see the account. I did take a screenshot of this. At Call Me Huey, at CALLMEHUIE. He threw it out there on X the other day. What was y'all's favorite at NBA on TNT moment? Oh, and the tweet has 38 million views right now. Mm-hmm. And it's people mostly replying or quote replying the best moments. I'm getting like goosebumps just thinking about it because the show is a huge part of my life. I watched it every April into June for 25 years. The fact that it's gone sucks. And, oh, man, like when they used to push Shaq into the Christmas tree every year, and then you got the clip of Barkley talking about Draymond Green. When a guy's banging you, you got to spin off it, and Shaq loses his mind. It's just so many out-of-context moments, but so many funny television segments over the years. And the gone fishing always made me laugh. Yeah, like every time the Bulls would get eliminated, they'd Photoshop Obama on the boat, and Obama would have the captain's hat on, and Charles would be like, "Oh, there go Obama!" Just things like that, like all the creativity and the fun that they had. That's one of the best shows, sports related, and maybe even not sports related. It's one of the best shows that I've ever watched, and the fact that it's over in its current chapter, or I guess not current anymore because it's over. It's something that I will miss every spring into summer.
Let me add a couple other moments as you were talking there that came to mind. When the Spurs were good, and he would rip on all the fat women in San Antonio. I think one of their best segments, who he played for, like putting themselves out there. Yes, they're NBA experts. Yes, they talk about the NBA for a living. They don't know everybody in the league. They know who they have to know, but they don't need to know the 10th player on every roster. That's not the gig. The gig is inform, entertain most of all, and they have spectacular chemistry. I've kind of avoided all the chatter about, okay, this rumor here, they're going to have some agreement here. He's going to do something with ESPN personalities. They're going to do something here. I kind of avoided it because I know it's not going to be the same. It's not going to be with Ernie Johnson and the chemistry that they have there. When they made the move with Shaq, I wasn't the biggest Shaq fan when he was a player. And I was kind of like, who does this guy think he is? He's just going to walk from the court onto the set of inside the NBA and be just as good. Like that's not going to work. That's not going to fit. He's trying too hard. I remember criticizing him in the beginning. He ain't funny. He's trying too hard. Ended up fitting like a glove, working out. And he brought a whole new element. And you're right. There are a lot of great moments that were born because of Shaq. And you hear people, I think there were a couple docs done on this show, and they talk about how hard Shaq works. And he's coming up with ideas. Like, he's grinding too. Man, I've kind of avoided it. I don't know what's going to happen, but I do know it's not going to be the same, and it's damn unfortunate, man. I typically would say, like, look, we could talk about announcers. We have our favorites. We have our dislikes. But with that said, People are going to watch no matter what. They're watching for the game. Yeah, that's the case with the NFL. Not with the NBA, man. The NBA is more popular today because of this show.
The personality is what shined through on that show. And I think to your point on Shaq, he was a little stiff early and he was very sensitive because this is a guy who dominated every time he was on the court, right? Nobody ever dominated Shaq. Nobody ever dunked on Shaq. But then you bring Shaq on the set, and Barkley and Kenny are constantly trying to dunk on Shaq. And Shaq wasn't having that initially. He eventually figured that this is fun, this is comedy, and then when the lights go off, everybody's friends off the set. I sent a couple clips to Jake last night, including the clip with Barkley talking about those big old women double-fisting churros. And then he does I'm not going to do it because I don't want to end up a meme. But he's basically holding two churros, and you can do the rest from there. And Shaq is watching Barkley do that, with the churros, and Shaq is throwing the papers and losing his mind. Oh man, like I could watch the best of and cry, laugh so hard I cry. Not cry like like I'm sad. Laugh because it is so funny. Some of those skits, and then who else was Barkley? Galveston. He hated Galveston, Texas too. He's like, y'all got that dirty water. Y'all got that dirty water that roll up on the shore. Y'all think it's the beach or what? Oh man, just so good. I'll miss that show, man. I really will.
When you said sensitive Shaq early on, the first thing that came to mind was when he was straight up pissed. Barkley just interrupts. Like, he talks. He's the loud guy at the bar. He's just interjecting his comments whenever, whether you're talking to him or not. And you remember when Ernie was bouncing around on the panel and Charles talks and it was Shaq's turn, and then Charles jumps back in and Shaq was irate. He's like, no, this goes 1, 2, 3, not 1, 2, and back to 1, meaning that Charles has won. Like, he was so mad.
He let the clock slip up. Everybody got 30 seconds, and then Charles jumped in on Shaq's 30, and Shaq sat there for 30 seconds and did not talk about the topic at hand. Those three with EJ, and EJ's the glue. EJ holds it all together, right? You have to have somebody keep that train on the tracks, and I don't think it's as easy as everybody thinks. As somebody who's had to manage multiple personalities at once, never like Shaq and Kenny and Charles. That is not an easy job to keep those three in line. And it was just the perfect show. The perfect show.
But they all respect Ernie. That's the difference. They love and respect Ernie. And when you would see other people step in or try to fill those shoes for whatever reason, Ernie's dealt with a lot in his personal life. But so he would miss time once in a while. And you would see, like, dude, who are you? And it was different. Anytime it was not Ernie Johnson sitting in there, even though I think most people would assume that he's the most replaceable piece there, like, it was totally different. Whatever happens, it's just hard to believe that the NBA wouldn't step in and say, listen, you're our partner, but this is going to help you. I know Charles has ripped ESPN in the past, but he makes numbers. He makes dollars, and he brings eyeballs to your network. So just take this. Just take this. Because you putting Greeny out there, Jalen Rose, whatever the hell you want to come up with, Perk, it ain't going to be what this is, okay? Just take this show and put it on this channel. That's what should happen. If what's right with the world, that's what happens. But Sam, there's so many egos involved, and it just matters who spends the money, and they want their guys. I hope that's not the case. Just take the show and put it on that channel. I mean, is it that hard? But it seems like it's not going to happen.